If I asked you to name the most influential menswear classic outfit in the entire movie industry, what would you come up with? I can think of a few options, and I would love to hear your choices in the comments below. The first thing that comes to mind is Michael Douglas in Wall Street from 1987, because his suits epitomize to me the power-hungry era of the 80s.
Greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
The second movie that comes to mind is Kingsman, the original movie of the series.
I suppose asking to borrow a cup of sugar is a step too far.
That movie kind of reintroduced that elegance to a younger audience, I feel. Lastly, I can think of my favorite movie, which is an Italian movie called The Great Beauty, La Grande Bellezza, because in that movie, the main character, Jep Gambardella, wears a phenomenal wardrobe. Seriously, every piece is a work of art. And since I've watched that movie, which I strongly recommend that you do as well, I've been trying to replicate that for my wardrobe. So far, unsuccessfully, but I'm still trying. I think that all these choices are solid choices, but I think that if we are talking classic menswear in movies, we cannot not mention one name, and that name is Bond.
James Bond.
You see, 007 has defined what masculinity is, or could be, or should be, and to some shouldn't be, for entire generations of men. It is not an hyperbole to say that the vast majority of men in the Western world, at least, have wanted to be 007 at one point in their life. Some of us wanted to be James Bond because of the cars that he drives. Other men wanted to be James Bond because of the toys, of the gadgets that he has. There's pens that turns into bombs. There's watches that turned into parachutes. Some of us wanted to be him because of the women that he has romantic relationships with. I have strong feelings about James Bond because he's one of my favorite fictional characters. I grew up reading his books, and I actually dreamt of being him for all of the reasons that I mentioned above, not just one. Now, if you're thinking about 007, 007 has a different face to different people. To me, there's only one 007, and that is Pierce Brosnan. And I know I'm not in the majority on this. To many other people, the only 007 is Sean Connery. However, Daniel Craig, at least to me, is a strong second contender. I am not exaggerating when I tell you that if you Google Daniel Craig's 007 outfit, you will come up with thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, thousands of videos and articles dissecting the way that he was dressed in those movies. He was 007 from 2006 to 2021, so 15 years is a long time in terms of fashion. Most of the discussions focused on his suits. His suits were made by Tom Ford, and they had a distinctive slim cut. They were not the classic British tailoring suits that 007 had been wearing for his entire movie life. In fact, most of the criticism focused on the fact that the suits were too tight, the suits were too Italian, not British enough. Some even said that the suits were too deconstructed, at least in some of the movie installments. The agreement seems to be that those suits lack the timeless elegance that is associated to James Bond. And I personally kind of agree, because if you're watching now the 2006 movie Casino Royale, the first movie he impersonated James Bond in, it's only been 18 years, 19 years, but the suits feel dated to me. However, if we listen to what GQ had to say on the matter back in 2018, Daniel Craig's 007 gave us the most influential menswear outfit in the entire movie history. Not the most influential outfit of the decade or of the century, of the entire movie history. And what GQ is referring to is the outfit that 007 is wearing in a sequence of the movie Skyfall that came up in 2012, and that has everything to do with the jacket I'm wearing now, which is the Barbour Beacon Sport Jacket. Today I want to review this jacket with you. I will go through the specs and through the features of the jacket. I will tell you my experience with it over the years, whether I had any problems, which I did, whether I would buy it again or not. But by the end of this video, I also want to try and answer a question that I had since this jacket came out, which is, why did this jacket become such a sensation overnight? Why did Barbour had to intervene to actually limit the purchase of this jacket to one per person to avoid speculation on the jacket? What it is that resonated with men all around the world and of different ages and different background about this jacket that made it so iconic. So stick around till the end, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And by the way, my name is Michele, and as you can tell, I am very passionate about coats. Barbour is a brand that doesn't need much of an introduction. They've been in business since 1894, and they are an icon of British styles that, to many people, myself included, mean wax cotton. I own many Barbour jackets, and I've reviewed quite a few already, and you can find them here or here, not sure. This jacket is very different, though, from everything else. It became an overnight sensation when the movie Skyfall came out in 2012. Now, there are 3 different versions to these jackets, and they all have some differences from one another. The original version that Daniel Craig wears was actually created by the custom designers of the movie. Barbour did not have a jacket that looked like this. What the custom designer did was to take a jacket that was called the Tokito Heritage Sport, which was a limited run collaboration between Barbour and Japanese designer Tokito Yoshida. And they altered it substantially. They removed the hood, they removed the very large storm flap that that jacket had, they removed some button, and that's the jacket that you see Daniel Craig is wearing on screen. So because that Tokito jacket was a limited run, when the movie came out, it was impossible to find. And what Barbour did was to come up with a new release of the jacket, calling it the Commander, under a now defunct subline called Department B. The problem with that jacket was that it's also a limited run. So it was only available for a couple of years, and many people still tried to get that jacket and they couldn't. Finally, in 2014, Barbour released a new version of the jacket, which is the one that I'm wearing, which is called the Beacon Sport, which is not a limited run, which means that you can still find it if you're lucky, because it's still quite difficult to find. And even if you find it, you have to bear in mind that you have to pay $745 for this jacket, at least in the US. And we'll talk about the price more in a little bit. Now, when the movie came out, the hysteria around this jacket was so high that Barbour had to limit the purchase of this jacket to one per person to avoid speculation, because people were buying this jacket and then selling it at a ridiculous price online. I mean, to this day, if you go on eBay, you may find the original Tokito Heritage jacket for approximately $1,500. Now, let's talk about the details of this jacket. The first thing that you will notice is that this jacket looks more like a sport coat than a classic Barbour wax cotton jacket. In fact, it doesn't have the zipper. It has a series of buttons that change in diameter depending on where they are positioned. They are larger on the stomach and they get slimmer as they go up. So you can wear this jacket in 2 ways. You can wear it as a sport coat, like I'm doing now, buttoning just one button, or you can button all the different buttons all the way up, using also the storm guard. Now, not having the zipper means that it won't protect you as effectively from the rain if you're caught in a storm, but the buttons definitely add versatility to this jacket. Another thing which is very different from any other Barbour jacket I own are these leather inserts around the neck, around the cuffs, and around the pockets. They really give this jacket a more refined look, which I really enjoy. The leather is deerskin and it's extremely soft to the touch, so it won't bother your neck at all. Now, the material used for this jacket is the classic 6-ounce cotton that Barbour uses for many other jackets. And this jacket is treated with their silk oil treatment, not their torn proof. The silk oil treatment is a treatment that is applied directly on the cotton at the loom, and it gives it this distress, this matte finish. However, it also means that the jacket is not as waterproof as it could be. If you really want waterproofness, you need to go with the thorn-proof treatment. I actually think that Barbour did the right thing with this jacket in terms of treatment, because of the button of this jacket is not something that you're going to be wearing in a storm if you can avoid it. There are 8-ounce inserts on the sleeves. These are actually very large, and on the shoulders. And if you look closely, you will see that they really have a different texture and a different feel. And again, they make this jacket more refined, at least in my mind. The fit of this jacket is very different from any other Barbour jacket that you might own. As you can see, the fit is very tailored, it's very trimmed. It's actually tighter than an Ashby jacket, in case you have that, and it's miles tighter than a Beaufort jacket. So that's something to keep in mind. Depending on your body type, this may or may not work. I am a size 40 regular in American clothing and 50 in Italian clothing, and I'm wearing a large. Now, many people online complained about the fact that the jacket was too tight on the chest and then the sleeves would have been too long. In my case, the sleeves are a tad longer than I would have liked. I would have liked maybe half an inch shorter, but I can live with that and I haven't had it altered. But again, this is something to keep in mind if you're thinking about this jacket. Make sure you try it on, because depending on your body type, you may not be able to fit in it correctly. Now, the jacket does not have hand-warming pockets like many other Barbour jackets, but it does have the bellow pockets, which are actually quite spacious. And as I mentioned, they're lined with leather. And the jacket also has a game pocket, like the Beaufort jacket. Now, the game pocket on this jacket is much smaller than the one that you can find on the Beaufort, but you can still put quite many things in it. Another feature of this jacket that you don't find in other Barbour is this wool liner here that connects the liner and the cotton of the jacket. In the original X2 Keto jacket that was modified to fit Daniel Craig in the movie, this material was also used in the storm flap that would cover your chest, but that this jacket doesn't have. The liner is 100% cotton around the chest and the back, but unfortunately is 100% polyester in the sleeves. Now, aside from the bond connection, this is actually a great jacket and it's extremely versatile. It's definitely not just a movie prop. You can wear it like Bond does in the movie and like I'm trying to replicate here with a sweater and corduroy pants. You can wear it over jeans. You can wear it over a pair of dress pants. You could also wear it as a sport coat with a button-down shirt and go to dinner, and I guarantee you that you would look fantastic. I really cannot think of another jacket by Barbour or by many other brands that has the same level of versatility. Now, like with every Barbour, you need to take care of it. This is not a jacket like a Gore-Tex jacket that you wear for years without doing anything to it. And this brings me to the topic of patina that I always hear thrown at Barbour jackets by every YouTuber out there. And everybody's saying how wonderful these jackets are when they develop that patina, when they change in color, and how gorgeous to look they are. And yes, that's true. They look gorgeous when they have this patina, but the problem is that when the jacket develops that patina, it means that it's too dry. It means that you need to rewax it ASAP, or else you run the risk of the jacket cracking up. So yes, the patina is beautiful to look at, but you will notice that this jacket does not have any patina, despite the fact that I've owned it for a few years. And the reason is pretty simple. As soon as I see that patina forming, as soon as I see that jacket changing color, I go and apply the wax again so that the jacket doesn't crack and looks brand new even after a few years. Now, I have encountered a few issues with these jackets. Some of them are typical of all Barbour jackets, and some of them are specific to this jacket. First of all, let's talk about the silk oil treatment. The silk oil treatment means that this jacket is a lint magnet. That means that no matter where you go and what you do, you will attract a lot of lint. So keeping it lint-free is a constant battle. It's something to keep in mind, and it's common to every silk coil jackets by Barbour. And it doesn't bother me as much on other jackets as it bothers me on this one, because this one I feel is more refined. It's less of an outdoor jacket and more like of a sports coat almost. So I don't like to see lint on it. It's not a big deal, but it's something that happens. The second issue I have with this jacket is the liner in the sleeves, the polyester used in the sleeves, because this jacket makes you sweat when it's warm. And that means that you cannot wear this jacket with short sleeves. This is infuriating in particular because this jacket is so versatile that you could use it many months throughout the years. But because of the polyester in the sleeves, the use is actually limited to the colder months. You cannot wear this when it's warmish because you will sweat a lot. The third issue has to do with the country of manufacturing. This is not made in the UK, it's made in Bulgaria. Now, I have no problems with the jackets made in Bulgaria. I know Bulgaria has high-skilled labor, but it's a fact that Bulgarian labor is cheaper than British labor. And that's the only reason why Barbour is manufacturing this jacket in Bulgaria, to save money. And the problem is they're saving money there, but they're still asking $745 for this jacket, which is one of the most expensive jackets in the wax cotton line of Barbour. So this is more of a philosophical problem. The fact that they are saving money in the production, but they're not passing those savings to the consumers, it sounds really greedy to me.
Greed is right.
Again, not an issue with the quality of the jacket. The jacket feels amazing. It's well constructed. No issue with the skills of the Bulgarian labor force. The issue is more about the greediness of Barbour with the pricing of this jacket. Now, this brings me to my next point, which is this jacket worth the money? Am I happy with it? Would I buy it again? And should you buy it? Now, is this jacket worth $745? That is a simple question, but it's a loaded question, unfortunately, because it depends very much on whether you have a strong emotional attachment to 007, and if you can put a price, a value, on being able to dress like one of your favorite characters. So if you are a fan of 007 and you have the money and you're able to find it, because these jackets are pretty difficult to find nowadays, definitely go for it. The jacket is well made, it's beautiful to wear, very versatile. You will definitely be extremely happy with it if you can buy it. However, there is the big elephant in the room of the price. This jacket costs $745. Now, to me, that is an insane amount of money for a wax cotton jacket, not even made in the UK. So when I bought this jacket, I bought it on sale. I think I paid around $400, which is still a lot of money for a wax cotton jacket, but more in line with the prices of other Barbours. I would have never bought this jacket at full price. No matter how much I love 007, no matter how much I like the idea of being dressed like 007. So would I buy it again? Yes, at the price I bought it at. If I found it, and if you can find it at the 400 price mark, go for it. Do not hesitate. At $745, I would not have bought it, and I would not buy it. Now, should you buy it? As I said, if you find it at a good price, definitely go for it. At $795, that is entirely up to you. As I said, to me, that's too much money for this jacket, but you do you. Now, everything I said about the features of this jacket is true, and the features alone are very strong selling points for these jackets. However, I don't think that the features alone can justify the hysteria that surrounded this jacket when the movie Skyfall came out. Barbour had to limit the purchase of these jackets to one per person to avoid speculation. People were going crazy. They were buying this jacket and sell it online at double, 3 times as much. So the question is, why? Why did this jacket resonate with so many men overnight, men from different demographics, different age groups, different countries? My theory is that there are two reasons, potentially three for it. The first reason is that this jacket, for the first time, offered everybody the possibility of turning into a recognizable version of James Bond at a moderate price. Now, the sad fact of life is that none of us can become James Bond, and none of us is James Bond. So the only thing that we can do as a substitute is to try and dress like James Bond. Now, you see, I could go out and buy one of those very tight Tom Ford suits that Daniel Craig is wearing in the franchise, but that suit is going to cost me $4,000 or $5,000, and it's not going to turn me into James Bond immediately. When this jacket came out, it was the first time that there was a single item that was immediately recognizable, and it was relatively cheap. I'm not saying this jacket is cheap. It's definitely not cheap for what it is. But there is a difference between a $5,000 suit and a $500 jacket. Replicating that look that you see in Skyfall with the corduroy pants, the country boots, the Barbour jacket, the teal sweater is relatively cheap. For $1,000, you are James Bond. And you can wear this outfit going about your life. You're not cosplaying as somebody you're not. However, I do not think that the affordability of the look is the only reason why this jacket became such a success. You see, there are other examples of movie jackets that became super famous overnight. Let's think about the jacket that Ryan Gosling is wearing in the movie Drive with the scorpion in the back. You would see that everywhere with a specific demographic, with a specific age group, and then you couldn't see it anymore. Now you can see it maybe as a Halloween costume, but that's it. Whereas this jacket is still here after 12 years, it's still sold at a premium, and men of different age groups still buy it. I mean, I had this jacket the other day, and I popped into a shop where there were 20-something, and I kid you not, I have 3 of these young folks come up to me and ask me about this jacket. I think that the missing element is the nostalgic feeling that the jacket in that specific movie was able to conjure. So there is the beauty of the jacket, there is the timeless style of the jacket, but there is also that feeling of longing for something that is gone, that was created by the scenes in that movie. Now you see the whole scene in which 007 is wearing this jacket is set in the house where 007 grew up as a kid. 007 finds this jacket in the house. He's not getting to the house wearing this jacket. So my assumption is that this jacket is his father's jacket. And so there is that feeling of something that is lost. And of course, the setting of the gorgeous Scottish countryside played a role. There aren't many outfits from movies that have been able to conjure that feeling, to really push men to feel a certain way. I would say that perhaps the only other example that I can think of is the movie The Great Beauty that I mentioned before, and I invite you to watch that. But I really think this jacket has been able to make men feel something. And for that reason and that reason alone, this jacket has a stable spot in my wardrobe.
So who is it we're supposed to be fighting?
No we in it, Kincaid. This is not your fight.
Try and stop me, you jumped up little shit.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more reviews of coats and jackets coming soon.